Hey everyone, Zoraz here from Not Casual. Today bringing you a quick video to talk about the new weapons that are going to be coming in Genshin Impact in patch 1.3. Now we have seen the clip from the live stream. This is official. We see the weapon, of course, the first one, which is the Primordial Jade Cutter, and the Staff of Homa. Now both of these weapons were shown, but they were not giving any information about it. But obviously we have access to the data mines from the beta, and these two weapons are present. We have seen them before, we have talked about them before, so now that we know that they are for sure coming, at least in the future, but the fact that they put them in the live stream kind of makes me believe that they are coming in the next patch, and should be probably the two weapons from the two weapon banners that we usually get every patch. Now, starting off with the Primordial Jade Cutter, this green weapon. Now, of course, it is very similar looking to the Primordial Jade Spear. It is basically the only Primordial Jade weapon that we currently have in-game, and it is obviously Xiao's weapon according to the lore and according to the official splash art, and it looks very similar in style. And also from data mines, we know that there's going to be a Primordial Jade of every single weapon, including bow, catalyst, claymore, for a total of 5 different weapons of Primordial Jade. Now from the data mine information, we know that this weapon will start with a base attack of 40 at level 1, which is actually very high, and it will have crit rate as a secondary stat. Now again, this information is data mined. It could change last minute. It is not official. It is just basically an educated guess, and it has been correct before for all the geo weapons that have come out. We had data mines of them and they all proved to be true. Now this could be different, but just to give you an idea what's coming. And another reason that this would make sense is that the Primordial Jade Spear, the one that is currently in the game, also has crit rate as a stat. So this is kind of like hand in hand and just makes sense. Now, the one thing that is different from the spear is that this sword has the same effect as the Staff of Homa. Now, it has a passive granting you 20% HP, as well as giving you an attack bonus of 1.2% of your max HP. Now, this might not seem like much, but, you know, when you have 10, 20, 30,000, 40,000 HP, even 1% can equal to many hundreds of extra attack. And if you ascend this weapon to a refinement level 5, it goes all the way up to 2.4%. So for example, when you have 10,000 HP, this would be 240 attack. So if you have refined this level 5 and you have, let's say, 40,000 HP, this would equal to basically 1,000 extra attack on the weapon. Now, of course, this would be only wells. We all know that rolling on the weapon banner is basically as bad as self-harm. So it is something that I would not recommend to anyone. It is basically scam. You let miHoYo scam you if you roll on the weapon banner. But if you like being scammed, or you have too much money and you don't know what to do with it, this is something you can do with. It will do obviously an insane increase in damage so that you can clear the abyss in 31 seconds instead of 33. Now lastly, talking about this weapon, of course, it will be a great weapon. A one-hand sword with crit rate will work with a lot of different characters. It's going to be nice. So these will be very interesting weapons to look forward to. It seems like the last few weeks have been about geo and shields, and now the next few weeks of weapons will be about HP and attack damage based on HP. So it seems like it's another meta. There's going to be more and more of these weapons. Of course, the power creep being what it is in this game, there's going to be better and better weapons and better characters, so that you have to roll for them in order to get the top damage or whatever. But considering the game can be cleared using Amber, none of it is necessary, so you really don't have to worry about it. A 4-star weapon can clear the abyss just as easily as this weapon, with the only difference being that you are a few $1,000s richer and you have wasted 30 seconds more when you're clearing the abyss. Now moving on to the Staff of Homa. Of course, this weapon is known as Hu Tao's weapon. Its story even kind of like signifies that it's kind of related to Hu Tao, as well as it has been leaked many times before being Hu Tao's weapon and all that. And it has very similar effects as the one we just talked about. Now, the one big difference with this weapon is that it has crit damage instead of crit rate from the other ones. So crit damage is also an exceptionally good stat, as it is one of the highest damaging stat in the game. Now as well, the base attack of this weapon is 46, so that is a little bit lower than Primordial Jade Spear, which is 48 at level 1. Still, 46 is much higher than some of the craftable and some of the 4-stars, so this is obviously going to be a very powerful weapon no matter what. Now, it also gives 20% HP as a passive. Now, the big difference with this weapon is that it provides 0.8% of your max HP as additional attack. But if you are lower than 50% HP, it gives you 1% more, making a total of 1.8% of your max HP as additional attack, which is obviously higher than the other weapon, which was 1.2, but you need to be lower than 50% HP for it to work. Now, we all know already that from Hu Tao's toolkit, she is going to be a character that wants to be lower than 50% HP, as it is how her kit works. She gains bonuses in damage and attack when she is low HP, and that is basically why we say that this is Hu Tao's weapon, as she's the only character in game currently that offers bonuses from being low HP, and this is the only weapon that will offer the same thing at the same time. Being a spear, she's a spear user, the color scheme is the same, it's pretty straightforward. Now, not to say this weapon won't be good on anybody else, this weapon will most likely be also best in slot on many other builds of spear users, and Xiao would probably do very well with this weapon as well, because he also might happen to be lower than 50% HP at times, and you can also build a team comp with more shielding and less healing in order to achieve that and not heal yourself. So it's going to be interesting introducing a new kind of game mechanic and ways of playing, but again, this is basically a ripoff, as it will be on the weapon banner, and it is basically a scam. But if you are lucky enough, or you like wasting your money enough to pull this weapon, it will be absolutely stupidly insane, and I personally am planning on unlocking at least one of these weapons because I'm that stupid and I'm that much of a Hu Tao simp, so I kind of want to test out her and this weapon together. I do have my own theories as of when I think Hu Tao is going to be coming, now that we know that the banners are only 2 weeks long in 1.3, or at least the next banner is going to start 2 weeks later. So is it going to be double banner? How is it going to work? Is it the patch going to be only 1 month? All of this, I was thinking of making another video to talk about it. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm thinking Hu Tao might be the last 2 weeks of 1.3 or the first few weeks of 1.4, which should be coming pretty soon anyways, considering the 2 weeks banner. Now, this weapon will obviously be insanely broken at refinement level 5, as at refinement level 5, you will be gaining 1.6% of your max HP as attack, and when you're lower than 50%, you will gain an additional 1.8% for a total of 3.4% of your max HP. Now at 10,000 HP, that's 340 attack. Now we all know that most of our carries are at least at 20,000, most of which will be more 30,000, especially with a weapon that gives 20% increased HP. So we're talking about almost 1,000 attack increase just from the passive, on top of the weapon having crit damage and high base attack, and all your gear, and it's just going to be quite stupid, and probably meaning that builds that are going to be full HP on characters like Hu Tao, which builds go like up to basically 40,000 plus HP, this will become quite nutty for these characters. So again guys, this is all data mined information. We don't know 100% for sure that this is exactly how it's going to come out, but this is the way it's been on the beta server for quite a while, and it could be changed, but usually it doesn't change completely. It changed like slightly. There's some details, some numbers that can be moved around, so stay tuned and let's see what it looks like when it comes out. But that gives you an idea of how it might look like, and if you are a sadist and you like to hurt yourself, at least you can start saving your primo gems for these scams shortly in the future. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think about these weapons, and if you are going to be rolling on one of them or not, and what you think about Hu Tao. Will she be coming in 1.3 in the last 2 weeks, or will she be coming much later in the future, maybe on April's Fool's Day? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.